Everyone, and welcome to the December 8th, 2022 Cumberland County Commissioners Workshop meeting. Please stand and join me for the pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. and at this time I open up the floor to public comments.
We have one person online with the initials JL.
Okay, JL, if you are interested in providing public comment, please use the raise your hand feature to indicate as such, and we will provide you permission to speak. Okay. Hearing none and seeing none, then we'll move on then to agenda item number 3, which is discussion of the CDBG commercial revitalization and shop steading loan application for Ensemble Real Estate LLC for $200,000 for acquisition of property at 19 North Hanover Street. And Rebecca Yerrick is here from the Cumberland County Housing Redevelopment Authority to discuss. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. You've heard the saying, there goes the neighborhood. Well, it's a good one. This is a good change here. This project, along with the neighboring property, serves to better the block, a now bustling block that hasn't always been the case. So if you can think back to 10 or 15 years ago, this really was a stretch where no one wanted to land. We've done an awful lot. Josh Schumberger is a Boiling Springs resident. He and his family bought the former Thomas Sewing Center in July. And to protect that nearly what will be $2 million investment in that property, but more importantly, enhance that project, they'd like to buy the neighboring property at 19 North Hanover Street. Like I said, these blocks were once those that no one wanted to land in, open in. It was a really tough sell. But in the last 10 years, we have done 30-some projects along those 3 blocks of North Hanover Street in Carlisle, and more is on the way. This is one of them. We have some other things in the works too that you'll be hearing about soon. That's designed to attract and expand businesses, improve the housing stock, what I call the top shop apartments, the floors above the buildings in most cases, and render a more pleasing, more welcoming street view for businesses, visitors, guests, residents, and all. The Schumbergers, that's Josh, his wife Corinne, and the Williams, that's Josh's in-laws.
Yes.
From Newark, Delaware, will seek $200,000 in financing for the acquisition of the property. His father-in-law, Dr. Raymond Williams, will provide the other $375,000 to get to the sale price in cash. This is an exceptional loan for an exceptional project, and it will carry a 2% interest rate amortized over 25 years with a balloon payment at 15 years. That's a little different than what you've been accustomed to looking at, but it's a much larger loan as well. The shop steading loan will be the first lien on the property, and the Schumbergers and the Williams will provide personal guarantees to secure the loan as well. 4 full-time jobs or part-time equivalent jobs will be created at this location within 2 years of the settlement, and that's $50,000 per job created. We're looking for your approval of this request to finance the purchase of the acquisition of 19 North Hanover Street in Carlisle, assuring the business and building boom continue, better building boom continue, and Pennsylvania's, love to say this, of course, fastest growing and most invested in county. We welcome any questions that you might have and appreciate your continued support for our community and business development efforts. I in particular appreciate all of the support you've given to the authority and this position.
Any questions for Rebecca?
Overall, what's the condition of the building? I mean, it looks very good shape.
What, do you want to address that? The upper 2 floors are Okay. They need finished. The first floor is occupied presently.
Right.
Correct, yeah, the first floor is currently bird's nest room, which is about 2/3 of that first floor. And then the rest is completely wide open, bare bones.
I think that happened, well, it was way before my time, but prior to Ralph James Properties owns that building now, that's Sean and Rebecca Foot. Prior to that, it was Calc. Calc was in there, and I think when they bought the building and the redevelopment authority of county were involved in that, helpful with that effort. I think that's when those upper two floors were sort of stripped out. I don't know what all was there, but it certainly cleaned up a little bit. But it needs everything.
Any additional questions? for
Yeah.
Rebecca?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I have to say, I didn't realize I needed a dose of Rebecca's lovely charm on a Thursday morning. But after you started to talk, I'm like, oh, yes, I needed that. So thank you for always being just a delightful human being.
Oh, make my day, quite possibly yeah, thank you
Well,
so
there,
much.
we're even.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Not to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that takes us then to agenda item number 4, which is contracts and grants. Commissioners, we have contracts that are existing, their extensions, their addenda with no additional costs or increases to the county for aging, human resources, and the recorder of deeds. Do you have any questions about any of those contracts? All right, we'll move on then to section 2, which is new contracts, vendor services grants, and contracts with increases or decreases to the county. And I'll start by calling on Jamie Ryder for Children and Youth. Hi, Jamie.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first one that we have is Marikey Behavioral Health, and that's just a memorandum of understanding between their agency and ours to share information. The second one we have is George Junior Republic, which has residential programs for males and females. They're requesting increases ranging from 8.07 to 22.56%. They are increasing the staff recruitment and retention efforts. They're continuing to progress implementing the Family Services Prevention Services Act and HEAL PA Trauma Informed Care Plan requirements. That all requires additional training, ongoing oversight and monitoring of those programs. And they're also stating ongoing requirements related to becoming a specialized setting, including implementation of additional curriculum for the youth that are at risk of sex trafficking.
Any questions for Jamie? Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
We'll move on then to the Conservation District, and we've got Carl here. I would say, I bet you're cold out there, but it's going to be like 52 degrees today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day out there today. Finally get to see the sun. Good morning, everyone. The Conservation District seeking approval for an addendum for Ken Wolf, a professional engineer. And Ken has provided professional engineering assistance to the Conservation Districts for Ag BMPs the last 2 years. So that contract runs out here at the end of December. So the addendum would be for additional 2 years. They'll run through December 31st of 24. The hourly rate is $70 per hour in the addendum. 100%, this is good news, 100% of the engineering cost will be covered by state programs, the Conservation Excellence Grant Program and the newly created Ag Conservation Assistance Program. So no county funding will be needed. I'll just mention in the last state budget, conservation districts, with the creation of the ACAP program, conservation districts are receiving $154 million over the next 4 years for implementing Ag BMPs. So there's a lot of work to be done, and having Ken Wolf assist that, plus our engineer will do some work also. It's much needed. So I'd also like to thank Keith and Lisa for assisting with the addendum language. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Carl?
Just a comment. I've had the opportunity to see Ken's work for the Conservation District. We are fortunate to have him. He is a master. So all good.
Yeah, we're very lucky at talking with other conservation districts who, are receiving a lot of money in the future. Their concern is, engineering and technical assistance. Is there enough help out there to get all these practices installed on the farm? So we're fortunate to have Ken assist.
Any other questions for Carl? Thanks, Carl. You can get
Thank you.
back to the lovely scenery there.
All right, I will. Thank you.
That takes us to Human Resources, and we have Holly Sherman here with us.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first contract we have is with Hub Midwest Casualty. This is for the excess workers' compensation insurance. Being that we're self-insured, we are required to have excess workers' compensation insurance. I will say we do have an updated cover sheet and memo. Angela's going to give that to you. We had a training opportunity that we inadvertently used payroll dollars instead of premium dollars on our cover sheet. So it's a much better number. I think you'll be happier with that number than what we had, but it is actually a decrease, a 2-year decrease. That is primarily due to the divestiture of the nursing home and having less payroll dollars to insure. The next contract is with Daring Consulting Group. This is to be effective January 1st, 2023. This is the retainer concept that we will work with Daring and have deliverables throughout the year to develop and deliver additional trainings to add to our curriculum library that we currently have. And the last contract is with Team Approach. This is an increase on the EPIC credits that we use to purchase to do our DISC assessments. So in order to do a DISC assessment at different levels, it requires so many EPIC credits. And the price is going up 42 cents per credit, effective January 1st. Any questions?
Thanks, Holly. That takes us to Kirk Stoner, who's here to discuss the addendum for Whitfield's finance.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is an addendum to our retainer agreement with HRG. It's a time and materials addendum not to exceed $5,000 for them to provide engineering review on the proposed access road on our property at Army Heritage Drive. This cost will be fully reimbursed by UGI Energy Services.
Any questions for Kirk? Okay. I'll continue with Kirk to discuss the grant contract for planning.
Commissioners, this is the Cumberland Plans grant that you reviewed at a previous meeting for a revised zoning ordinance in Middlesex Township. This is the executed contract documents for your approval.
Any questions for Kirk? Thanks, Kirk.
Yep, thanks.
We'll move on then to public safety. Claudia Garner is here to discuss. Claudia?
Good morning. Public Safety is seeking your approval to enter into agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources in the form of a license for tower right-of-way. This is a license basically to utilize about 1/4 of an acre of DCNR property for the construction and maintenance of the new 180-foot self-supporting South Mountain Tower site. There's no annual rental fee. However, you'll see in Exhibit C, there is a $10,000 performance security bond that's required to be held for the life of the agreement. The solicitor has reviewed the agreement, and this is the same process that we went through for the 3 Square Tower site in April of this year. Once the agreement is approved and the performance bond is issued, we can continue to move forward with the construction of this site as part of the P25 radio system project.
Any questions for Claudia? Okay. Thanks,
Thank
Claudia. Okay. We'll move on then to recycling and waste, and Justin Miller is here with us to discuss the grant application.
Good morning. So these are the standard forms due after each one of our household hazardous waste events. These forms are for the October event. Two forms we have to submit to DEP with your signature. First one is the record of operations, which tells them that we collected 30,854 pounds of material from 345 customers. The second form is the application for reimbursement. So DEP will reimburse us up to 50% of eligible costs. Total eligible costs were $30,872.18. We took in $13,989.81 in fees from residents, leaving a net cost of $16,973.37. However, 50% of the eligible cost is $15,436.09, and they will award us the lower of the two. So this application will be for the $15,436.09.
Any questions for Justin? All right, thanks, Justin. Okay, so that concludes contracts and grants. So we'll move on then to agenda item number 5. And hey, Justin Miller is here to discuss the next 3 agenda items with us. I didn't flip over my page fast enough. So if you would, Justin, if you want to cover agenda 5, and then if the commissioners don't have questions, you can continue to each one.
Sure.
Thank you.
So these are all related to bids for moving and working on our yard waste recycling equipment. The first one is for moving the equipment and some potential light work, such as replacing a tire, adjusting the brakes. Put it out to bid. We only had one responded. I did have questions from another company, but they ultimately chose not to submit a bid. The bidder is HJ Towing and Recovery, which is actually the current holder of the contract, which expires at the end of the year. I tried to estimate what I thought the bids would come in based on prices we're seeing with inflation. I had estimated $25,125. The bid actually came in at $23,237.50. So I'm very happy with that. And I would recommend that you award the contract to HJ Towing and Recovery, and that would be effective at the start of 2023. Any cool? All right, I'm going to kind of combine the next two. This is for actually heavy maintenance and repair work on the equipment. Previously, it was all under one contract. The company that held that contract closed up shop effective really beginning of September. We've been getting by with some purchase orders with some companies. I decided to split them into two, focusing on wood processing equipment and then leaf processing equipment, hoping it might draw some more bidders. Unfortunately, it did not. We had 2 bidders for both contracts. Timber Ridge Equipment out of Ephrata and Stevenson's Equipment out of Harrisburg. Let me look at the numbers here. So for the work on the wood grinders, I had estimated $28,537.50. Timber Ridge came in with the lowest bid at $24,425. Stevenson was at $28,660. For the work on the leaf turning equipment, basically I just split the hours. So you're going to see same numbers. Timber Ridge, once again, low bidder, $24,425. Stevenson, $28,510. I had one fewer day of overnight. That's why their number's a little bit different. Timber Ridge put 0 down for that. So Timber Ridge, although they're not a Moorbark dealer or specialize in Moorbark equipment, which is our grinders, the heaviest need for maintenance. They are a family business in the wood grinding and leaf processing business. I have confidence that they'll do well for us, so I recommend that we award both of these contracts to Timber Ridge Equipment. Effective, I'd like to have it effective upon your approval date because in the last 2 weeks here, I've had some issues pop up with equipment that I need to get work done on them. Any questions about those two?
Justin, I'm sorry. Did you say approval today?
No,
Or
no.
approval Monday?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to move on to the next agenda item if you had said today.
No, I was working with Lisa. If you approve it Monday, we'll move forward with getting the contract executed with them as quickly as possible.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that then takes us to agenda item number 8, which is a discussion to receive a donation for the Cumberland County Treatment Court from a former graduate of the program, and Ryan Simon is joining us by Zoom. Ryan?
Good morning, Commissioners. Mr. Brooks is a 2013 graduate of the treatment court, and he recently expressed his interest in making a $250 donation to treatment court, specifically to put the money towards future graduation ceremony costs. Whenever treatment court has a graduation and it's like in person, they buy light refreshments and stuff like that. So the donation would go towards that.
Any questions for Ryan? Okay, thanks, Ryan. Agenda item number 9 is discussion of the Cumberland County Commission for Women reappointment recommendations, and I'll call on Commissioner Foxy to discuss.
So we have 2 individuals to consider for reappointment, Kelly Smith and Wendy Zimmerman, and these are reappointments for 3-year terms effective January 1, 2023 and expiring December 31, 2025.
Okay, any questions about that? I will say, Jean and I have both seen the Commission for Women in action, and very impressive, very impressive women.
Absolutely.
Agenda item number 10 is discussion of the Cumberland County Blighted Property Reinvestment Board reappointment recommendation, and I will call on Commissioner DeFilippo to discuss.
Yes, Stacy, the board, which has been very active this year, has asked that I stay on for another year. And that's pretty much it. There is a typo in the date. It's a 1-year term. It should expire December 31st, 2023, and we can make that correction.
We'll make sure we get that corrected.
Okay.
The BOC agenda. Right, moving on then to agenda item number 11. This is discussion of a capital project request for planning. And Kirk, I apologize. I should have called on you to discuss this way back in the agenda during contracts. So if you would discuss the capital project.
He is no longer on.
He is no longer on. Okay, I will discuss the capital project. So this is, if you recall, Bishop Road Bridge has been closed, and this contract, or this project request, I should say, is actually the capital project request to remove the bridge and create turnarounds on both sides of that bridge. The contract for this is actually slated to come forward to you at next week's finance meeting. Any questions about the capital project request? Right. So that takes us then to agenda item 12, which is Commissioner's Liaison Report. And Commissioner Eichelberger, I'll start with you.
Just briefly, a number of things. Of course, Judd took us through the updates on most of the recycling stuff. The only other thing I would add to that is I believe he and Kirk met yesterday with the architect engineer looking at the recycling facility for some prospective upgrades that have been discussed here before. Nothing set in stone, no pun intended yet. But they had the go over that, and the architect's going to be providing a proposal on some of the options available there for the upgrades with an eye toward future needs of recycling. So always thinking ahead, always looking ahead. Our guys are on the job. So the on MH IDD said they're just plugging along, trying to get service needs met. Nothing particularly unusual right now. On the MH side, Annie sent me an update that said the advisory board is forming a small working group, a subgroup that's going to be helping share information regarding unmet needs in the community, so they have a better handle on quantifying the unmet needs for a variety of purposes, obviously. So they're going to be meeting starting in January. Also, Penn State Holy Spirit is developing a child and adolescent partial program. I don't have any information on what exactly that is, but that's in the very early phases of the conceptualization there. Of course, certainly welcome any additional services into the market and the involvement certainly by Holy Spirit, which has a long history of partnership with us on this issue. So Manny also mentioned that there should be a response forthcoming regarding the regional crisis program proposal with Dauphin County. We should be hearing something on that in the relatively near future. I'm not sure exactly what kind of time frame we're talking, but she seemed to think it was very soon. So real quick on Katie, I think everybody received the notification. There will be a brief meeting in December for the board of directors on December 20th. That'll it's a little out of practice. We generally don't have a board meeting, a working board meeting in December, but they need this one to get the budget finalized and some appointments finalized and make sure we're hitting the ground running with all of the new efforts that are underway. Janet is finishing up the writing of the implementation plan for the strategic blueprint, and we'll be presenting that soon. The economic development manager position is posted. They're getting applications now. We're pretty successful in getting talent in the door here over the past 6 to 9 months. So hopefully that continues. We're building the capacity of the shop now and expecting good things from them. So well positioned. RACP announcements will be forthcoming soon. It's the state grants. We're hopeful that we're as successful this year as we have been over the last few years in getting that state support. Workforce development program is being put in place. I had a meeting this morning with the chair of that committee. Got a brief update. They are moving forward. Some big pieces falling in place. It's a bit complex there because there's so many players, but that's moving forward. And 2023 will be a big year for us in that regard. So, of course, the PI delay attraction imminent here. We've got 1,300 student athletes coming to town for that championship. And just as a reminder, we're talking 1,200 hotel room nights for the finals on that significant economic contributor and right up the alley of what we've tried to do with the Visitors Bureau all along. Get folks here to see what a great county we have, what a great place to do business and have fun. Next trail project is underway February the 2023, just around the corner, chocolate and coffee trail. The new visitors guides under development, advertising requests are up, and a couple of statistics I will bother with in regards to the increases in tourism numbers and what markets they're coming from. Some very good trends there as well. And I think that's everything I have. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fauci.
So not one of my liaison assignments met in the past 2 weeks. So I would just remind everyone to use the library system. It's great, especially over the holidays. There's lots of good offerings. And that's it. Thanks, Stacy.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner DeFilippo.
Yeah, same situation, Stacy. None of my assignments met during the last 2 weeks. However, the next update we want to include Conservation District, Ag Preservation Board, Housing Redevelopment, Aging Advisory Board, and APCOG.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to that in the new year. Our next official meeting for the board will be January 5th with a reorg meeting on January 3rd. It's hard to believe that that is less than a month away. All right, so I would like to report that an executive session was held on December 7, 2022 at 9:30 a.m. regarding personnel. And I'll ask if there is any other business to come before the board today.
No.
Hey, hearing none and seeing none, we are adjourned.